Ruby Sparks, the script for Special Love. Calvin Weirfields was crowned before he knew who he was. A boy genius with a trophy on his desk and a silence in his chest. The applause ended and the echo stayed. He brought home a dog named Scotty and a loneliness named Control. The typewriter glowed like an altar and he kept offering edits to it. When nothing came, the blank page became a mirror. Write about someone who likes Scotty just as he is, the therapist said. No fixes, no conditions, no performance. The ego does not know what as is means. It only knows how to edit what it fears. Calvin dreamed a girl and then wrote her. Her name was Ruby. The mind answered and she appeared. Not as metaphor, as matter. Projection stepped out of the dream and made coffee in his kitchen. That is how the split mind works. It writes a script, forgets it wrote it, and calls the script reality. At first it looks like salvation. At last, someone who understands, admires, and never misunderstands. But it is not love, it is authorship. It is specialness wearing a smile. Every time Ruby acts like a person, the altar demands a sacrifice. He edits her back toward the fantasy. He writes clingy and she suffocates him. He writes cheerful and she becomes hollow. He writes constant happiness and feels the plastic in the air. Artificial joy is the ego's favorite toy. It shines for a minute and then it breaks in the hands. The contract becomes visible. If you act the way I want, I will call it love. Break the script and I will call it betrayal. That is special love. It is possession perfumed as devotion. The typewriter becomes a little god. Each key is a keyhole that locks the cage from the inside. Ruby glows when she is free and fades when she is controlled. That is not about Ruby. That is about a mind revealing itself to itself. Ruby's name carries the parable. A ruby is red like passion and warning and ownership. Sparks are what happen when friction mistakes itself for fire. Together they spell a love that burns instead of warms. Calvin takes Ruby to his mother's house and watches spontaneity refuse his leash. Jealousy sounds the alarm because reality refuses to stay small. The ego wants a miracle it can manage. It wants wind that obeys the stop sign. It wants sunlight that waits for permission. It wants life without surprise and love without freedom. So it calls freedom betrayal and control devotion. Harry, the brother, names the truth. You're sleeping with a girl you made up. That line belongs on the wall of every grievance. There is no way to be angry at a character the mind itself is writing without first forgetting the pen in its hand. Scotty is the small mirror that tells the larger story. Calvin dislikes how Scotty pees and fears strangers. He projects inadequacy onto an innocent animal and calls it observation. Love Scotty as he is exposes the whole problem. If as is feels impossible with a dog, as is will be a threat with a partner. Control becomes the only language fear can speak. The breaking scene arrives like a siren in a church. Ruby tries to leave and Calvin tells the secret. I can make you do anything I write. He proves it with the violence of keys. She obeys and screams and obeys again. He keeps typing because panic thinks power will stop the loss. This is the crucifixion of relationship. I love you becomes you must. Care becomes cruelty. Need becomes noise. The mask slips and the altar shows its teeth. Then shame cracks the spell. He sees what he has become and the ash around the spark. He writes a final line that is actually a prayer. As soon as she leaves the house, she is free. That is forgiveness in plain clothes. Forgiveness does not fix the dream, it retires the puppeteer. It ends authorship of the other. It admits the script was the problem and the person was never the solution. Ruby leaves, and what leaves is the illusion. Peace stays behind and breathes. Time passes and Calvin writes again, not to manufacture love, but to confess what blocked it. The new book, The Girlfriend, is therapy bound in cloth. Readers call it fiction, and the mind calls it repentance. In the park, he meets a woman who looks like Ruby, but is not a memory. She is reading his book and smiles without history. He promises not to tell her the ending. That promise is enlightenment in miniature. Presence without prediction. Joining without demand. Love without control. Metaphysically, the film is the ego's masterclass on projection. Every grievance says, you should be different. Every correction of another is a sentence we typed ourselves. When the script is sacred, the actors become enemies. When the script is questioned, the stage becomes light. Calvin's idol problem peeks through the dog's name. Naming Scotty after Fitzgerald is the ego's way of cutting the idol to leash size. If I cannot become the god, I will shrink the god. Comparison manufactures inferiority and then reaches for authorship to compensate. Control is how fear preys. It writes commands and calls them love letters. The mind that cannot let a dog be a dog cannot let a human be a human. It must edit to feel safe. It must script to feel worthy. It must manage to feel real. That is why special love flips into special hate. The same control that felt like safety becomes the same control that feels like prison. Keep the script and the actors will rotate while the pain repeats. Drop the script and the stage changes instantly. Forgiveness is not improvement, it is release. Freedom does not come from better dialogue, it comes from dropping the pen. The miracle is not that Ruby appeared. The miracle is that the typing stopped. In the quiet after the keys, love did not vanish. It was revealed because it had never been made. It had only been covered by the noise of authorship. The course would say the problem was never a person. The problem was the belief that love could be engineered. The belief that control could cure loneliness. The belief that authorship over another could make a self. Release undoes those beliefs in a single practice. You are free in my mind. No script, no role, no bargain. I will not use you as evidence for my fear. I will not make you carry my lack. I will not ask you to prove what is already true. That is the end of giving to get. That is the end of be this so I can be okay. That is the end of special love and the beginning of honest sight. When authorship returns to the right mind, the story changes genres. Tragedy becomes parable. Possession becomes presence. Control becomes quiet. The spark fades and the light dawns. The author dissolves and the truth writes itself, because there was never a Ruby to lose. There was only a role to release, only a script to end, only a mind to remember it was never alone, only a love that never needed writing in the first place.